got some cash, got some wheels, took it out, got some feels, lost control in a world, but we're alright. Are we like you? I can't be sure. Obviously, as she turns, we are strange in our minds, but we are young. We're ungreen, keep our teeth nice and clean. See our friends, see the sights, feel alright. Are we like you? I can't be sure. Obviously, as she turns, we are strange in our minds, but we are young. We're ungreen, keep our teeth nice and clean. See our friends, see the sights, feel alright. Oh man, my computer's doing all kinds of weird things. I'm so sorry. Oh, well, I mean, I can't help it, but I don't know why that is happening. So, a second. Right there. Here we go. No, I don't know why you're doing that. Let's close that. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yesterday I was talking, I thought rather good about, how the world, what's going on in the world, what's wrong with everybody. And, oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Just the things that happen. Look at this ad. How lesbophobia in Brazil. Put an end to lesbophobia in Brazil. Have you ever heard of lesbophobia? It's apparently a new thing. We got to put, people are being brutally murdered in Brazil by lesbophobia. Question, why can't we just say hate phobia? Why can't we just say people don't like other people? Lesbophobia. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm, hi, Palsy. Hi, Bri. Did I say your name, Bri? Hi, Bri. And Palsy. Anyway, that just tickled me. I'm sorry. That caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared. That was a nervous laugh. I am not in any way, shape, or form happy about lesbians in Brazil being brutally murdered. It just caught me off guard is all, and I had a nervous reaction. Okay. So yesterday I shared some guy. I can't say his name. Apparently, according to one of our wonderful viewers, he was an Israeli scientist, philanthropist, thinker, inventor of the 70s. But he was saying some interesting things that mirror, the meaning of life. So I did a little kind of mirroring stream. So now on that stream, I'm piggybacking because I had made a comment about this experiment where we have a bunch of, it's basically Lord of the Flies, but in new terms. So you can actually see it. You're not just reading a book and thinking, yeah, Joni, okay, sure, an author came up with these behaviors. Okay. No, it's actually a very normal human developmental stage thing to do. And so a while back, I had found when I was researching that relation, Elmerford, to the meaning of life. I came across these really neat documentaries where they took boys, guess the age, just guess, and they put them in a house by themselves. They also did this with girls. And I want to break down these behaviors. So I want to show you that if in the meaning of life we're correct, in the epoch that we are living in, or the astrological age of Aquarius, which is adolescence anyway, I mean, so many things line up, is adolescence. So double digits, 10, 11, 12, all the way. We got 6 years here. This is our last set of 6. We had one set of 6, I am, 2 sets of 6, 12. And then we've still got 6 more to go. So, that's the mark of the beast, 6, 6, 6. You get it? It's there. We still have a bit to go. But let's imagine now what I kind of assume. And he showed real nice last night on the bell curve where, maybe we're thinking instead of heights, we're going to think about the world in terms of intelligence, which he showed. So you have this one group that's way out here, that's really seeing things lining up. And then you have this other caveman group. But most people in the center are of this average intelligence. But one day there will be higher intelligence, but they'll still just be the average of the higher intelligence. Do you see? So that's us transitioning. So I see the current world and the state of affairs is roughly about a 12-year-old or a 5th grader. And so if you can remember being, 11 and 12 years old. Okay, so you have one side that is thinking still like 11 and one side that is thinking a little bit older. Ties is my backup channel. Okay. Do you have a do you have a spanner? You can share that, Paul. Okay. So I'm going to play this. And now imagine you're going back in time. Come with me through time travel. And we're going to go back to, say, the beginning of the industrial age. Okay. So that's pretty far back. We've finished our preschool kings and queens. We have finished our toddler stage of building with blocks. And our preschool stage comes next with the kings and the queens. And then here comes the next stage, elementary school. And so watch as humans transition from one stage to a next. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, hello, William. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, I'm going to let this play now. I'm not going to mute because I want to just be able to pause it and talk. But if it sounds weird or it is hard to follow, if you can't hear it well, please tell me that. So I'll switch the way I'm doing it, and I'll mute myself. And then when I want to chime in, I'll do the clickities. So so if it's unbearable, let me know. Do I have sound? I have no sound.
Our children.
Jeez.
How protective do we really need to be of our children? And just how dependent are they on us? What would happen if children were actually left to live alone together? 10 boys from Bushey in Hertfordshire were chosen to live by themselves in this house for 5 days. Aged 11 and 12, none of them had met beforehand. The house.
Okay, so he says it right there. These are boys aged 11 to 12. So now put that on today's time. And imagine these aren't boys, but these boys are each represent an archetype or a type of human that is currently on the planet. All right. So you're going to see a lot of very similar behaviors, and then which are going to be the ingrained in them, and we'll stop and talk about them. And then you're going to see some of these behaviors that come out unique to the child based off of their environment and their upbringing and so forth and so on. So you're going to see a core group of behaviors and then an environmental influence of behaviors. So when you're watching this, don't see little Bobby, see every little Bobby that you know. Start picking out the groups on the planet that you see practicing the most of these behaviors. It's really interesting when you start to look at the world like this. Okay, let's go.
House and garden were filled with toys, games, books, and paints. The kitchen was stocked with food. Cameras were put in the bedrooms to monitor the boys at night.
Okay, so let's stop. So they're going through what they've done to the house. Okay, so first they've stockpiled it with food. They've given them everything they need to survive for 5 days. In fact, they've given them an abundance, like the Garden of Eden. Everything's been prepared for them. There's plenty of surveillance, so the eye in the sky is present. And you'll see this. If they need an adult, they can go press an emergency button, right? That is prayer. That's what we do when we drop on our knees. An emergency, please help me get out of this. Please fix this for me. I can't fix this one. So they are equipped with a call button to God, okay? So are you seeing humanity being set up? Are you following me along? These are the most beautiful examples. If people can't get it from this, I'm going to have to give up because this is spot on the money. So everything's prepared for them, even their eye in the sky and their out button.
And during the day, there was a camera crew in the house. The crew didn't speak to the boys and only intervened for reasons of safety.
Police.
Hi, this is Mark Clark at Sandy Hook Promise in Newtown, Connecticut.
And hi,
What's put in place there?
Sandy Hook Promise.
The first the boys saw of their new home was when they arrived at 10:30 one Monday morning.
I'll let you watch this.
Whoa! It's mine. Oh, this is lovely. See that shot? Did you see it? Yeah. I'm going upstairs, right? Oh, I like it. Oh, this is great. Oh, I'm going upstairs. Oh, it's scared.
Notice how they enter the house. They just barge in.
There was a bell the boys could ring at any time if they needed help. They could speak to the production team, a nurse, their parents, or to a child psychiatrist who each had met beforehand. They were also free to leave the house at any time. Upstairs, there were 2 bedrooms. The larger one had 6 beds. The smaller one had 4.
Is that far? Hey, look what I found! It's a really good house.
10 cameras had been left out for the boys to use.
Oh, damn! Let me at it.
George was the first to take a picture. There were also
Straight to
10
the
water
food.
pistols. It was Daniel who got hold of the biggest.
Guns. So you can see the instinctual behaviors. They're showing you the stages. First, they come in, they grab up all the food. Somebody starts taking notes. We've got a photographer. So now you've got somebody who instantly is taking notes. Remember, we're looking at archetypes. And then they start grabbing the guns and the bombs and the arrows and the rocks. These would all be symbolisms of the first things that we do. And of course, in our baby stage, we grab a rock or a block or a rattle and put it into our mouth. We're grabbing onto something, hair. So the first thing they go to are the things that are most destructive. Instinctually, not because they have seen this in movies. Now, I'm not saying that they haven't, but I'm saying that we did it first as a behavior and now we mimic it. So first humans did this as a normal developmental behavior, and now the children mimic. So what you're seeing there is a core human behavior that is ingrained or designed into our programming to get us there. So I really like that that's the first thing that they do. Let's continue through.
I just need to block him.
Once the ice was broken, everyone began to introduce themselves.
Now here we've got movement. So now through our history, during this stage of development, not at 11, 12, we're looking at a much older, more mature version of it. But our early ancestors, that's how we do. First, we destroyed, we put everything in our mouths. And then we found the biggest things we could throw, kick, shoot at each other. And then the next thing we do, we start interacting with each other. And so the behavior that comes next is introducing. And that's where in our timeline, we started to see people introducing each other, meeting each other, traveling. And this is a toddler world. So it's the ancient times. Toddlers first a moving body. So, once they become mobile and they get what they want, like the block to throw, then the next thing they want to do is find somebody to throw it at. And so toddlers start introducing themselves to other people. They walk up to, they'll crawl up to, or they'll walk up to different children, and they're very curious about each other. And these boys display that right out the gate, which means that it is part of the code of how we interact. Just imagine these boys are just dumped here, and they're going through all the developmental stages that a child goes through up till they're doing it rapidly because they've already experienced it. They're 12. But that would have been a symbol of our history and how we would have interacted with the planet. And Ulick asked me, how can we tell what's true in history and what isn't true in history? And I say, here's a good example of if we have a story coming out of a stage that we're socially mixing that seems off from that behavior, then that's probably the added part, right? So now these 11, 12-year-olds have reached this point where they've marked off every developmental milestone they've reached already. And now they start introducing each other to themselves or to each other, start introducing.
Oh. Alex, you're so nice.
Can you see how we were doing? Can you see? Hi, I'm so-and-so from that island over there.
Then it was time to check out each other's schools.
And then look what they do.
What school do you go to? Fishy Meats. Do you live near your school?
Yeah.
Where? What road?
They start communicating with each other. They start asking each other where they grew up. Where do you go to school? Where are you from? I want to know about your culture. I want to know. That is a fourth dimensional thinking. That's thinking outside your own house into someone else's house. That's a time expression. And so they're instinctually doing it. It's absolutely beautiful, right? So now they're going to establish, they're going to start to get each other, know each other, which will establish collaborations. Or in our ancient times, we had, alliances. And so here's where the unique personalities of the human is going to start shining. And so not these 11, 12, because they're only practicing what they've already mastered. Okay, they're going through it very quickly. But in our actual stage of that, so when we are meeting with others and when we are intermixing with others and collaboration is beginning, is roughly around our preschool stage. It is the kings and queens. That's why we have so much of it there in our stories and our concepts. And in the preschool stage, you go from learning to play with pairs to learning to play in threes to by the time you reach school, you're able to play in a fours, which is why most board games are going to say for ages 6 and up, because it's not until a child reaches 6 that they truly can start to practice taking turns and playing well with others. They become spatially and socially aware of the others around them. So during our, our era of the kings and the queens and the medieval times ending, roughly around the end of that, that's all that is unpacking during that stage. You can see it playing out. Okay, so I'll keep playing this.
Really? Mine! Michael!
The boys couldn't believe the freedom they'd been given, and for the first hour, they just ran riot.
It's Granny! I found him!
Michael,
So for an hour, they just ran rampant. I mean, does that not describe the medieval times and in the historical kings and queens we have? They're just running rampant. They're just making a mess of everything. They don't know why or who or anything like that. They're just running rampant all over the planet like children with no supervision, just exactly like these boys are doing. They're expressing a normal developmental stage. We haven't actually seen these boys catch up to their 11 and 12-year-old selves yet. They're all acting on instincts of past behavioral understanding. And you'll start to see that here where the 11 and 12-year-olds start to come out. And that's where you'll see these archetypes. So we're just following through time.
Was taken to task for throwing sticky popcorn all over the carpet.
In the garden. When we leave, in the hall, we'll put our names. Gone but not forgotten. Like they do in the subway at Queen's. George!
But soon everybody was trashing the place, as if to see what it...
The first thing they do then is write their names. Look at that. It's mine. I was here. And that's what we have with, the fairy tales and the written words. I mean, you can see that. I was here. I was here. I was this king. I was that king. That's a normal behavior we have. And that's why they made the ornate buildings and, sphinxes and castles and all of these things. Hey, Shirality. And yes, you see, that's beautiful. Thank you. And so now they're marking their name. They're pissing on it. They're saying, this is my territory. I was here. This is me. Excellent. They're absolutely perfectly formed as little humans. If I was a godhead looking down on my little humans and I saw them doing exactly this, they ate everything, they grabbed the weapons, and they trashed the place. And now they're marking their name on it, right? The first one kid throws sticky popcorn. It's about to start. That's one piece of cake being thrown across the table, or mashed potatoes, and watch what happens next. So it's an instinctual behavior we have. I love that they mark the walls. And then you already see some of their older characteristics are about to show up. The way they dress, what toys they choose to play with, what characters they're coming into, right? This is all dress rehearsal. This is the Shakespearean days about to be expressed early on. And then you'll see the archetypes showing up to complete the cycle of the 11 and 12. And then we'll see how they resolve this once they reach their maturity age here in this burst of stages. Am I making that clear enough? Probably not to everybody, but if you do know what I'm saying, you should be able to follow along quite easy. Okay. If not, just keep coming back and then come back to this one. So we're watching everything, from the watch to the clothes, and they'll start to unfold here. So right now we're still in our marking of the territory and the medieval times, just a whole fucking mess of a mess. You're going to see it. destroying buildings, you
to
know,
make an
all
adult
that stuff.
intervene.
No, that's enough. I didn't get any on your face.
Got it
Yeah,
on my
that's
neck.
just so out of order.
Let me get some on your neck.
Yeah, no, yeah, on my neck.
I love this part right here. Right here. Wait a minute. Nobody, I didn't mind when we were doing it on our body, but you got my face now. Right? Wait a minute. And that, I love that moment. Think of that and examples of that in time. Wait a minute, you're not playing fair. That's out of order, right? And the concept of games begin to really come into this area, right? And this stage. So it was really cool to see him show that behavior there. Wait a minute, not on my face. That was out of order. You're not playing fair. And the idea and concept of fairness shows up in our developmental stages. That brings us treaties, and that brings us signatures.
All right. I'll get the paint up in a minute. I did a little stripe on you.
And they move from their pencils to the paint. Look, Luke was here. Bob was here.
What are you giving this?
And then another kid covers it over. What are we doing?
Painted.
So while we're watching this part, let's keep in mind that during elementary school, so the stage that these kids just came out of, right? Their fear was the loss of autonomy, of freedom. And they're really respecting right now everyone's kind of freedom to run around and do whatever they want. No one is saying, hey, you can't shoot, or you can't do this, or you can't paint. No one here is stepping in to set boundaries on what each can do, because they appreciate their own anonymity that they have right now, and they're expressing it all over the place. So currently, they're not worried about anybody else's boundaries of space, which again fits that behavior of how we were back in those days of dynasties. And so we were not really, everyone was kind of allowed to do what they want. And we just start to get into you're approaching on me. There's a set of rules here. One of the rules is you don't get my face, right? So that steps into my boundaries. And that comes later. That's what we grew out of. So that's getting away from the bully in your elementary school days, where you stand up for yours and other people's autonomy. And so I found that to be very interesting to note here in the moment where everyone is running free, that they're all allowing each other to also be autonomous, which is excellent because they're right on target. That's a understanding of the world.
Been shot. Where's my black?
No, play back, you dimber! Hey, go. Whoa! Buried, I think we win.
There you go. I am shot you, so yeah. Ball disabled. Flash. My
By the evening, the mess they'd made was already bothering them.
in this house, we never expected.
Okay, so now suddenly their 11 and 12-year-old selves have come in. So now it took them one day to run through all of their earlier stages that they had developed and conquered. And now here they are at their 11-year-old self going, crap, look what we did. We made a mess of this place. And here's where we are now. So our entire industrial age there of that idea of just running amok and destroying the planet and doing all of these things now, shooting and killing each other. Oh my God, I'm starting to see the mess. And this is where we start to have ideas of global warming. And, this brings us into the 80s, which is roughly around the time that I think we started having the mass shift. I think the 60s was and 70s was the beginning of the age of Aquarius. So they were exercising these altruistic concepts of watching our planet. And when you watch the girls go through this exact same experiment, 11 and 12-year-old girls, you see some of that coming out there. You're going to see the same behavior in this one that you're going to see in the girls, which is really fabulous, right? So you're going to see the same behaviors unlocking in them. And so this is the realization that we've got a bit of a mess on our hands. And of course, that's an opportunity that business is not going to pass up. And so there's money to be made. And so we can use this to our advantage now. We're just changing. So let's watch and see how they start to rectify the mess that they've made. And let's watch the kids that aren't following suit. So just like what's his face said with the bell curve, we have one little group of kids, a very small amount of them are starting to notice the mess. And they might start to clean it up. But you have another group here in the center that is the majority. And then you have another small, maybe one kid, two kids in this group that are going to be continuing the mess. And then that's where it's going to hit a peak.
Like that, but I'm really upset that we had like trashed it so badly. We were trying to explore everything at once, weren't we?
Yeah, no.
And got too carried away in ourselves. Those balls are just really bugging me. What they do? Just really.
And look how when one starts, they all start. Everyone follows suit.
You can't scrape it off. Yes, you can. It's dry. Look. It's coming off.
That's why I need the other knife.
Yeah, give me that. Where's that other knife?
And then you saw there that there were still a few boys that were sitting on the couch. So that transition, some of them are not going to bother. Here, I can't get it off. I'm not going to mess with it. You see? But everyone starts to follow suit. So all of these boys start to do, oh yeah. They start to notice the mess as well. And they want to try to fix it and clean it. And of course, they've made such a mess now. So think business contamination and pollutants that we really can't scrub it off now. It's there. It's going to have to be wiped clean and repainted, as a great extinction or a flood or something like that. Maybe a sunburst, an asteroid, I don't know, an ice age, whatever. But a lot of this is stuck here now permanently. Oops.
This is how desperate we are. It doesn't work. Oh,
You're trying scraping it.
Yes! Give me something to wipe.
They're using the good towels.
That's my flipping towel, you idiot.
You know what?
In the absence of parental discipline, the boys decided to restore order themselves.
Well, if you need
Yes.
I see no hands.
So something inside them tells them that they need to counsel. You see that? We need to come together and have a council. Again, very behavioral expression we see throughout history. So it's an encoded system. And so as young as we would have been from newborn baby, human civilizations would have been, because this is not a physical, but an unconscionable behavior that we do. We form councils and we try to figure it out. First, we try to fix it ourselves and we make, we're not getting anywhere. And so now we've got to come together. That's a very, tribalistic, so normal human thing that everyone does. And it's beautiful to see that these boys instinctually do it. Let's come together. Let's have a council. Now we think that they're doing this based off of, things that they've seen in films. That's not true. Even though they've seen it exampled, it is an instinct we have to come together in this way. Again, showing up naturally for us after our preschool stages. And you see a lot of councils coming out of that era specifically.
Right, all think of one person in your head who you're going to vote for.
Can you vote for yourself?
You can't vote for yourself. I'm thinking. Oh, wait.
Right. Democracy becomes born in history.
Robert, yeah. Who voted for Daniel?
Yay!
Who voted for George?
3 people. That's healthy. That's healthy.
Who voted for me? Who voted for
George? You're right.
Yeah, but then I reckon
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
George.
And they picked George. I mean, just look at George. He looks like a leader, doesn't he? Looks like he's going to take this position quite seriously. I love that he's got the girls on his stripe. Do you see the stripes on his yellow, neon yellow shirt? Zoom in for a second so you can see what he's got there, right? This is who they've picked as their leader. Let's go back for a second. Here's George.
Who voted for George?
Here's George sitting there. He clearly somewhat stands out, right? He looks like a leader. He's got his watch. We saw him earlier at the board or at the wall writing his name. Do you remember? And I said, these clothes are going to come in. You're going to see some uniqueness. And there it is.
You're right.
And you don't know what's on his little thing. It just looks like a black zigzag line until you get real close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgie.
Hi. Oh, that really hurt my eye. Yeah, I got
Kane.
By electing George as their leader, the boys had created their own version of a parent figure. And George's first task was to gather up everyone's complaints, almost all of which turned out to be directed at Michael.
You hear that? I'm going around. Tell me who's bugging you. And here we find out it's Michael. Michael is bugging everyone. It's that king over there. He's bugging everyone. Nobody likes him. Beautiful.
On bike. Daniel has been ran into a bike as well.
Yeah, but that was an accident.
Was it?
Yeah, but you should watch me go and you should just ride into people.
Did you ride into Michael? Someone show Michael.
And the mediator
Okay,
is
Michael.
born. The mediator archetype is born. So now we have a leader archetype that has showed up, and we have a mediator archetypes that are showing up. I'm going to go around. That's his duty, to go around and be a mediator. And you see that I even remember in the Valhalla video game where they would go and he had to sit there and make a judgment call on something that happened between two people. And that's where your wise elders would, and it's their maturity that gave them the ability to make. So we get, what do we have now showing up in our historical epoch right here? Judgment, judging, and making decisions. And that's exactly what the leader is doing here. It's beautiful. All right, keep going there, George.
I'm going to make a claim for Michael.
Here he goes again with his little
It's
pencil.
not a blooming court thing. Gonna make a claim for Mike.
Here he goes again with his pencil. He says, even look at all the notes he's been writing. And you see that happening. It's beautiful.
What if you come up to me and throw rugby ball in my face?
And you threw helmets at me twice.
Exactly.
And denied it.
Hey, no.
After the meeting, most of the boys went upstairs to bed.
And you see how he's just kind of sitting there behind the guitar. If you like body language, you could see him sitting there with the guitar. You know, I think that's the boy. We'll keep watching.
Paul and Mark chose to sleep outside.
Oh, that's just evil. Time for sweeties. It's kind of like trying to...
We got one load of chewing gum.
Have we?
1, 2, 3.
Don't go to sleep with it in your mouth.
And Luke and Michael decided to sleep downstairs.
Hi.
Let's sleep up. Nope, I'll sleep up there. Yeah, up there.
Stay still.
I want to note too that that's the age of, well, here's a commercial. That's the age of Peter Pan. So the 11-12 crossover, I just saw that little boy made me think Peter Pan there, the way he was jumping around. I'll be over here. No, I'll be over there. It's that playful boy side.
It's the morning of the second day, And after only a few hours' sleep, the boys are already getting up. There still hasn't been an organized meal, and sugar has been the main source of
Now
sustenance.
that all happened in one day in their timeline there, in their concept of time. They have 5 days, and they went through all of those behaviors right on the first day, and then they sleep.
It's an Eskimo.
Futile attempts at cleaning the walls are still going on.
And then they're destroying the towels. Okay, the towels are destroyed by cleaning the walls.
Yeah, I totally agree.
They don't see that yet.
I'm getting another bite.
Everyone had completed a cooking course before the week began, though at this stage, you wouldn't know it. There were 2 vegetarians in the house. One was Sim. The other was Luke.
Cheese is the new cheese.
By midday, sheer hunger had pushed most of the boys into culinary creativity.
Anyway, it's me and Michael's.
And now here's where their environment starts to help them out here. If you have one kid that doesn't know how to use a peeler, another kid has at least seen it done. So the ability to use each other, and they each took a little crash course in culinary, in cooking. And then let's know also that the first thing they did was eat all the good stuff up, the easy and the good stuff. And they're going through that now, the micro, with the noodles in the microwave. And so they're picking through their stash in much a way a child would. And I think that's clear throughout history as well. We got rid of all of this. We overdid it. We didn't save it for future generations or later.
I'll go get some sweets for you.
Get a fork and poke it. Oh, great. Someone's blown up a pot noodle. Now that looks a bit like puke.
Is that
Although the boys were getting on well, the big underlying issue was still about who was doing the cleaning.
Whoa. No, Sim hasn't done anything though. Don't know that, but he's never gonna do anything. He'll do it tomorrow.
some people in this house got a problem because they want to avoid doing all the work.
I washed up this morning. At least I washed up.
Look.
The whole of tomorrow.
Yeah, Sim
You
does
and
the washing
Sim,
up.
you and Sim. Tomorrow I'll do
Tomorrow and the day after then.
And you got to cook everyone's food.
You clean this room.
I can't clean this room by myself. In an hour you could. Yeah, in an hour. I'm not going to waste my time. It's supposed to have fun, not boring. Well, you're not meant to not do anything. I didn't say I wasn't going to do anything. I'm going to do something. Well, start doing it then. Yeah, I've got a headache right now. God, everyone's done some work.
And so they've picked this kid now to be their maid, and he doesn't want to. And they're using the excuse that he hasn't done anything. Right. You're not doing it. But then they're failing to notice that there's 3 other people in that room who are also not doing anything. And maybe he hasn't done anything at all. Maybe he hasn't even picked up a piece. But at the same time, maybe he's smart enough to think if I pick it up, you're only going to destroy it again, which is something that kids do. So I don't know what this archetype that is coming out, this human being on a much broader scale is what this boy represents. And this one here who's wanting him to clean up, and these 2 back here that are just in the background. I mean, the scene alone, look at the mess there.
Work. Yeah, and I am. When? Soon? Soon's not soon enough.
Don't do that. That's how it works.
Sorry. Just have to do it.
Don't do, because so he said, I'm not going to do it. So what's the first thing the kid does? Instinctually kick a ball at his face. And then one of the kids in the back says, that's out. Don't do that. That's not nice. Right? Leave him alone now. He speaks up. Oops.
I'm feeling quite tired. All I've had is chocolates and ice cream.
I didn't even have breakfast.
I didn't have lunch really. Because when we cook, it's horrible.
What?
When we cook our food, it's disgusting.
What food?
When we cook food,
Wasn't.
mine is.
Oh no, not again, doctors. He turned that thing off. It's so annoying.
And so I love this part here. Because he's saying, there's Michael, the one everybody complained about. And he's throwing the ball and it makes all this noise. And the boys earlier, they're just chatting there about how hungry they are and that they don't like the way the food is. And all they've had is sugar and sweets for the first day. And so they're agitated right now. They have what's recently been coined as they're hangry. They're angry and hungry. Their bodies are saying so anything. Now, Michael being him and his character and in his archetype. So here's the world complaining. And then here's another archetype that says, let me throw it again. If I'm going to irritate you, right, soon is not soon enough. If I'm going to irritate you, let me irritate you. I have a lot of that personality. I can relate to Michael there. So if I'm going to get in trouble, I might as well really get in trouble. There's no point in not going all in the trouble department. So you start to see these human archetypes. They're coming into their 11, 12-year-old selves. And so you're seeing human nature catching up with them here and how they're going to solve this problem they find themselves in. And that's where we are. We're having these conversations. We're irritated by this person and irritated by that person. And everyone's irritated by someone, whether it be some kind of ism attached to it or a pronoun, a prescription pad or, anything. We're annoyed by everything. Everything is starting to annoy us. And I see that en masse.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Early in the evening, Michael decided to sleep in the tent with George, but this only made them a sitting target for the rest of the group.
No way.
So put that in terms of humans. So some people choose to live in a tent. They're choosing to do something that's different. They're just deciding that I don't want to be in this house. It's such a mess. I'm going to go in here. So it's something different. And that makes them a target now. So that is a behavior that no matter how it's expressed, whether it be a kid that's some kind of, disability or looks funny or does something funny, or we think them as weird or freak showish or, sick, they become a target. And so the fact that the tent is a symbolism of that, I found really interesting because it instantly made them a target. Not to mention, look how much fun this tent would be to whack people inside of it. I would want to. They're bouncy and the people inside squeal and get excited.
You can hit the tent as much as you want.
All right, good, thank you.
Cheers!
Just gave us permission.
So then the kids inside act like it's either cool or it's not going to bother
Not
them.
the blue
They're going to
side.
try
Not the
to
blue side.
through the invasion of balls.
Hands are up.
Alright. Hands on that. You got 2 hands.
Don't tip the tent over either.
We won't.
Don't pour Coke in it.
We won't.
And don't spit. Oh, I can't not just kick there.
I'm not actually kicking in anymore.
And now they're setting rules.
That just hit my face.
Game over. A ball hit me in the face. Not fun anymore. Now I'm mad.
By the second evening, several of the boys were saying they were feeling homesick. It was at this point that Sim asked to see his parents.
Okay, so now we're catching up to some of the behaviors we see. So to me, what he this boy, Sim, I guess his name is, what he realizes is that I'm homesick. Okay. And that's where everybody's getting right now. We see that because cults aren't just rare. Everyone is in one. And so everyone's looking for a savior, a messiah. They're homesick. If you've had some type of spiritual experience, either through psychedelics or through a near death or Kundalini, something like that, you know what that homesickness feels like. And so everyone is starting to experience this moment of, I don't like this. We're homesick now. We want our parents to intervene. And I see that playing out en masse around the world currently. You know, so we need someone to step in for us and help us out here. I'm going to ask Jesus, I'm sorry. Can I talk to my dad? Can I call my mom? Probably is what he's going to want to do. So hang on.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to hear, but it's important.
Despite his homesickness, Sim decided to stay in the house. George, who was still trying to be a leader, came inside to look after him.
It's well hard. I think I found another bit. Yeah, that is right. Come on, George. You want to sleep on the setting today? I'm sleeping in the tent. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Because Michael, I'll put his chuck him out and get you in. It's quite hard. Where are you coming? What? Where are you coming?
You see him trying to give him a heads up that these guys want him out. He says, I can't. He's, why aren't you coming? And he's kind of, without saying, he's using his head to kind of, these guys here, that's why I'm not. Brilliant. And using the language there. That's excellent.
Do you want to help, Michael? No, I don't like that. I'm cutting out. Because I have to. Because I have to.
Since there wasn't enough room in the tent for 3, George and Michael decided to keep watch over Sim while he tried to get some sleep.
Night, Sim.
I know a couple of ghost stories, but I forgot now. Hold on. I know a couple of ghost stories.
They create a lookout. Yes, exactly. You call out to mother because there ain't no other. I want my mommy. You see how interesting that is that they actually create a lookout. They already know that they're not going to be able to hang out in there and relax and chill out. And they're finding there's nowhere for them to go that they're not going to be. They're going to have to hide somewhere on the property to keep anyone from messing with them. So they create a lookout there. I thought that was quite clever because I can see that in our history as well. It's create a lookout. We can sleep easier when someone else has got our backs. But the other kids are circling their bikes. They're circling like hawks, waiting for them to fall asleep. And they're giving them this sensation. Now, nobody's going to, these are today's boys. So they know no one's going to kill them, but it doesn't matter. Instinctually, their minds are wired to behave in this way. They have not recognized who they are now, and they're just following the behavioral patterns that they're wired to follow, which is why it shows up in our antiquity.
I forgot one now. And it's a really scary one. It's not a ghost, but it is a ghost. I got it off a film.
What is it? Exorcist.
Yeah.
Seen that?
Have you?
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it just turns its head around.
Yeah. What? Yeah, of course. Hello. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm turning my walkie-talkie on. Okay, I'll turn mine off. You're right.
Yeah.
Is it this noise?
No.
Do you absolutely have to?
Yeah. Well, sort of. It's sort of part of the national curriculum.
I'm so sorry. Can you go inside, please?
Another barragement on the way.
Do you want to punch?
Yeah. I mean, no, sorry.
You know, I mean that.
So you know how in school where the bully just keeps on and on and on. There's no reprieve. You're just consistently on high alert. He can just choose, and he stands outside the tent and bounces the ball, letting him know that at any moment I could just throw this ball at you. And so let's see how they're going to handle this bully on the playground scenario.
Oh my God, they're eavesdropping.
Can you get sleep?
Yeah.
Wheelie onto the tent.
I need to smack Daniel in the eye. Please keep the noise down. Sim is actually sleeping.
Sim is trying to sleep.
No, he is actually sleeping.
StreamYard's got better there.
At 1 a.m, Michael had gone back into the house and left George to sleep alone in the tent with Sim.
Who did you sleep with last night? Sim. What time did you get to sleep? About 11. You're right, Alex. Is it scary? Why? Is it scary outside? It's not scary outside at all. It's quite fun, actually. Voila! What time is it then? 9:15. What? 9:15.
How can you eat chocolate at 9 in the morning?
What?
How can you eat chocolate at 9 in the morning?
Because I'm starving.
Chocolate. I need a Red Bull.
The mess and lack of organisation was still bothering everyone, and there was still lots of argument about who should do what.
Someone's got to washing up and then make a pancake mix or clip the pancake.
Now that's all I hear is a bunch of smart people arguing over the best way to fix the mess we're in. I definitely think we're right here in this age. Like there's some sitting there having a council by the pool on an island somewhere. Who's going to take ownership of this mess? I'm not cleaning it up. I'm not cleaning it up. But they all made the mess. Or some might think they've made not as much of a mess as others, which is what typically they start to judge others to themselves here at this stage. And that's exactly what's going on in mass. a lot of people judging and weighing themselves up to everyone else, which is a precursor to, the next fear that we conquer, which is, being alienated or rejected or unliked. And so rather we're going to what role are we going to, excellent, Jerry, thank you. What role are we going to step into?
Not me and Lou.
Yeah, E.G., not me.
E.G. Sim.
Yeah. Oh no, should we do your chips and sweet corn and put something else in with it? Put it in a different bowl.
Vegetarian nuggets. Vegetarian nuggets.
Yeah, do you want those?
Look, are you vegetarian because you want to be or because you can't eat meat?
We're having burgers tonight with chips and sweet corn. What do you want to have instead of this chips and sweet corn with you?
I'm making my own food.
Sure. Yeah, so we're doing it for Lou.
What?
We're chips and sweet corn and veggie nuggets or something.
All right, then I'll make it tomorrow. I'll make food tomorrow.
Yeah. Oi, people in the house.
Shut up! I have to ask you one question.
No.
It's not a meeting or anything. No, not a meeting. Do you think Sim should do the cleaning now or tonight?
Now. I think you should just finish for drying up now with you.
Because I know that Sim's going to be too tired to do anything. I'm too tired. I've got a headache.
Wait, come, we'll fill out the paddling pool.
Yeah, but Luke's in actually not going to do it.
Yeah. Water, more water.
Brilliant.
Shut up! You loud mouth.
Who wants to guess how long it takes to destroy the pool?
Drowning me! No, we need more water. Daddy, I told you we should get proper water. Yeah, let's
He's got a boner!
Oh, why you got wipe your feet? You gotta wipe your feet before you
I was in my
run.
slippers. I was in my slippers.
The boys were now halfway through their stay, and this was the nearest most of them had come to having a wash and changing their clothes.
A bit more warming next time and it'll be lovely.
Some were also beginning to talk openly about how much they were looking forward to going home.
Now, that's what we have right now. The world is full of people that are talking excitingly about going home, no matter what Kool-Aid flavor that is for them. Everyone is coming up with their own ways of expressing that behavior. Okay, I've had about enough now. I'm ready to go home. It's setting in, and humanity starts to divide between those that are ready to go home and, want mommy again, and those who are loving this autonomy so much, they never want to go home. And we have that Peter's one of those latter group. Gates is in that latter group. Anybody in longevity or epigenetics is in the group that wants to stay longer. They're enjoying their anonymity. Beautiful.
On Saturday morning.
Are you looking forward to going?
Yeah. No,
I don't mind.
just a bit maybe.
Oh, that's a lot.
Daily Harvest now has a lot of
There
different
are a lot of
options. The
commercials.
easiest possible way that I can eat to make sure that
Jeez, more planet destroying products.
Luke and Paul, together with Daniel, were emerging as the most assertive boys in the house, and they decided it was time for a communal meal.
Prat. Biggest prat I've ever seen.
That one, I didn't even turn it on. It's on fire.
They put the thing on fire.
Just keep hitting it. Keep hitting it.
Give it to me.
It's hardly on fire.
Put that in water.
It's burn. We're better than a tea towel. You idiot. Who turned it on? Do that, you idiot.
You're an idiot. No, you're an idiot.
The seating
You
order
idiot.
was to be a powerful expression of the pecking order in the house.
No, sit here. Sit here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I just
Now, here's another moment I find beautiful to show how we've got here through our, and we're micro-macroing. And they instinctually want you can see the hierarchy forming. Instinctually, I want my best friend or my best bud or my alliance sitting next to me. We're stronger together. And they instinctually know to do that because they instinctually just want to sit by the person they've connected with. And so that creates a hierarchy, because if you're chosen as the leader, then anyone who's sitting next to you is closer to that fold, right? Hey, Arkash, welcome. And instinctually we do this, and instinctually we did that in our history. So, think about where you remember this showing up, and the first time we started to see this council and sitting next to it. You see, that is a normal child thing. It's a normal thing, but they can do it on their own and in a very well organized way of disorganization here, because they're still not going to solve anything. Not everybody's going to go along with the council's way of thinking. I'm going to guess. We'll see.
No, we're all gonna have together. Yeah.
I know. Cook by me.
And they all cook a meal. Instinctually, they do.
Go to the table. I know.
Well, I'm sitting there. Who is it? What's the matter? I was just sitting there, and I just got out to
He
get
was.
the tree.
He was.
No, you're not. You ain't sitting here. We're sitting here.
Yeah, man. I sit there. I was sitting there.
Is there anyone sitting at the end?
No. Well, somebody should be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm sitting there. I'm sitting here.
I'm
Paul's
sitting at the
there,
end.
and
I'm
Mark's
at the end.
sitting
Paul, come over.
No, you're not. We've all reserved these bloody seats.
Because they're the cooks guests to want us.
Where the hell am I supposed
At the end,
Someone's sitting there.
No, they're not. Nobody is.
no one's actually sitting there.
There is your drink. Who's the other one that one's orange? I want a black one. I want.
Yeah, that's your place. No one else is sitting there.
My ducks do this behavior.
Pure orange juice.
Musical chairs.
Pure.
Yeah, well, that's them. I like mine so. Where's the rest of the sweet? Oh, you're draining it. Burgers need turning over now. Hallelujah. Where's the oven glass? Oh, it's not going off. Is anything in the oven? Yep, that's it. Oh, well, I'll have that one. I feel I need to put a bit of oil on these to make them a bit more succulent. I need to put very liquid on. No, don't you dare. Oh, good.
What are you doing? Is that our sauce or something?
Yeah, that's the sauce.
Did we make
Go
it
away! Stop complaining and go away, you stupid little freak.
Okay.
No, I just love this scene because as they're coming out with food, you've got the royal cooks, and now they're coming out and everyone is happy to see them. And that is an environmental factor that gets shared with. So if you cook for everyone and then you spend all that time in there and you're doing that, and then you walk out and everybody's like, this is crap, not going to want to do it anymore. So instinctually, especially when you're hungry, anything on a plate, even if it's an oiled cookie. You see, I remember watching that show the show, what was it? It was a game show, and they were put out in the wilderness or something, on an island or in the middle of the desert, or Survivor was the name of it. That exact same behavior showed there. You could see how everyone started to fall into their archetype. And these two boys have fallen into the cooking archetype. And Michael's fallen into the archetype that can go and harass and just pop in. And they're like, hey, leave me alone. And, and everyone's starting to form their own identities. And so it's really cool to watch that happen.
Right, just for Alex. From now on, we're gonna call him Alexandra.
Yeah. No, we're gonna call him Alex XX. Okay, there's Georgina.
Michelle.
Danielle.
Yeah.
Lucy.
And then instinctually, they just give themselves girly names. Everybody's name turns into a girly name. Hey, Temmie. And that's just something they did. One person did it and everyone followed suit. That's a behavior we have. I love it.
Mary.
Not me. George, Sim, and Michael are doing the washing up today.
Right, let's go. I think it's time to do a run. You know what I mean?
Have fun, ladies!
Yeah, stay up.
Come and go to sleep, Ickle baby. Come over here and go to sleep, Ickle baby. Naughty baby. Choke down. Good night, little Ickle baby. Get down. Oh, give him a massage.
An hour after the boys had finished their first group meal, Sim was still washing up. By agreeing to do the clearing up for all 10 boys, Sim had now finally established his place in the group.
Oh, what place is that?
Michael had been labelled as troublesome ever since spreading popcorn everywhere on the first day. And whatever he did now, the label stuck.
Lock him out! Shut the door so we can't get out. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to lock it up. Yeah!
I can see it. That's so beautiful.
Right, Michael?
Locking out.
We need to go.
The fear of being left out. Alien. Ousted out of the group. Unlike
Let him out. Yeah, let him
he's
out.
getting madder and madder.
Hey, he's free.
Treat us back later.
Just don't take the chair over.
Now we tie him up.
Yeah, that's no soap, no soap. Ah! Oh, that's too tight.
Peter Pan again. The age.
That elephant dog has it.
This is normal. This is a developmental normal stage thing that we did. Now we did it on an extreme level, like on crack or something, but it is still ingrained in us to act in these ways.
Don't pull.
Give him a good whipping.
Now let's leave him.
I'll go into the kitchen.
No, let's dip him up.
Into the stockade. Leave him. Throw tomatoes at him. He can't move. He floats. I'm Houdini.
Oh, he's done your help, boss.
They're wheel scanners. I can't write them anymore.
They lift it up.
No, you lift it.
How can I?
By the evening of the third day, the group had divided into two gangs. The noisier boys in the big bedroom and the quieter boys in the small one.
So instinctually, they've divided into a red and a blue.
Decided he'd prefer to be in the smaller room.
Is this one yours?
The boys had slept very little during the week, and apart from their one group meal, they'd mostly eaten cereal and sweets.
Last night you nearly broke my nose.
I mean, are you hearing the story of humanity?
The atmosphere was becoming hysterical and aggressive. Almost everything had now been destroyed. Michael was made the scapegoat, and his increasingly strange behavior made him an easy target.
That's Daniel.
Where do they play?
Oh, no.
We'll give you another game.
I'm not be bothered. I'm going to shout and lose my voice.
All right, me. George.
I'll play you.
All right.
Now, just for fun, the kid decides to go outside and scream and shout until he loses his voice. And that's what he's doing there. Just because he can. Clearly, he wants to. I think that's very interesting. I'll have to look into that one.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Maybe as if it's a self-torture kind of idea. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe he's just unruly and wild.
Why not? He lost it.
What time are we getting home? We have to go sleep early on Friday.
No.
Yeah, we could have got some
Yes, we
photos,
do.
but someone smashed all the cameras.
It's a tiny, like that's Bill Gates right there when he was a child. Destroy it. Oh, I'm a great warrior. No one survived.
So pretty much killed everything.
We want our dog to be able to run free, but also stay safe. And so the Halo has been my
Look what they've done to the place. It reminds me of today. Look what we've done to the planet. Are we gonna clean it up? This is the age of man currently.
No! Yeah, actually, guess who smacked her?
There goes my beach. Do you see that? Hit the foosball table. There goes my beach. Damn it! They put windmills out there. There goes my beach. It's the same thing as walking in and seeing your foosball table you like playing on the ground. Right? Fuck. And I was here the whole time. I even was privy to when he was building these wind towers or when he was breaking. I was here in the house. And look what I missed.
Oh my God.
It's broken the guitar, it's broken the broom, it's broken the fish potato.
It's broken one of the chairs.
It's broken the balls, it's broken one of the chairs.
He's just breaking everything. Big business.
Triangle for that. He threw that outside.
Break it.
And he busted up the tennis table.
He threw the basketball on the roof.
And he made the tennis table collapse.
He left the ice cream out the sun. He nicked everyone's cameras out their drawers and smashed them.
It's a massive, massive tiger. No, I don't.
Wait till just before we leave and beat him up. Or wait till we get outside, then beat him up.
Everything we're going to clear up will be messed up in like 5 minutes. So there's no point.
I wish you could have beaten Michael out.
I hear humanity saying that anything I clean up, they're going to smash it apart again anyway. So there's no point. There's no point to cleaning it up now. They're only going to ruin it again.
So let's put hedgehogs while they're asleep and poke them.
Yeah, let's go do that. Probably get a few blue spikes in our head.
Yeah, see if you can break the hedgehogs as well. Everything else is broken.
Not everything.
Yeah. Name one thing.
Speechless. Oi, stop it.
We go to the garden. It's the only place where it isn't a mess.
Wow. The garden is the only place that isn't a mess. What a symbol.
Why the hell have you got more money?
By the afternoon, the boys decided they wanted to speak to Dr. Scott, the program's child psychiatrist, about Michael.
Group, let's see. Show of hands. Who wants to have a meeting?
I don't know what's about. Where's
Okay.
Michael? Where's Michael? I'm on the Hoover.
Right, okay, fine. All right, okay, let's go into the bedroom then.
Go
I think there's one.
to the biggest one because that's my bed and so I
Now we consult the oracle. We need the oracle to tell us.
In the meeting, the boys initially all turned against Michael, who watched on from his bed. He denied he'd been responsible for breaking everything. Eventually, the others agreed they were also to blame. Dr. Scott suggested the boys tried to work together more as a group.
See, now wouldn't it be really nice if humanity could do that? That's what we still haven't got yet. If we can learn that we're all responsible. I keep hearing it, but what I'm saying here in paralleling this video is that that's a normal behavior for us. What we're experiencing now is normal in a developmental stage, and it's part of the age. It happens during the age of double digits, where we gain altruism, where we start to see others and ourselves and the reflection of ourselves. Oh yeah, I kind of did that too. He might have done more, but I also did it. The hypocritical, the judging, all of that comes in to play as we move in our double digits into our, as we're going into our adolescence. And that continues for several more years. So we've got a good bit. The idea of judging and comparing to others doesn't disappear until after our midlife or young adult, when we head into our midlife. So we still have a whole quarter of our lives. We've not even completed a quarter yet. And well, I think that's very interesting.
The meeting over, Michael remained curled up in his bed.
Michael! George!
Come on, Michael.
Like it's the white man's fault, or whatever you want to put a label on. Their fault, his fault, whatever label.
Yeah, we're a group! Yeah, let's play Manhunt, it's well fun. Come on, trust me, it's wicked. Can we play Manhunt? No, I want to play Manhunt. Because Monopoly's not all about game, is it?
So we're all gonna play. Say this is a base, but it's not. I mean, like a pole.
It's like pin the bin.
Everyone be quiet. What we playing on bomb? Yeah, it's like a bomb.
The attempts to organize a group game turned instead into something more aggressive. Hunt the Hedgehog.
No. Oh, did you see that move? Did you see that move?
And look at him just going after a little hedgehog. That's what they're doing now. There's a hedgehog in the bush there. And now this group of boys is going to torment the hedgehog for a minute because they're encoded to do so. The girls do something similar, but in a different, it's expressed a little bit differently, but they also have an animal moment.
Did you see that move?
Yeah, I saw that move.
Look, watch it move. Watch it.
Kill some hedgehogs.
Can't hear it because that's stupid.
That's you, the hedgehog.
At this point, the film crew decided to intervene.
Come and catch it, Mark.
They just instinctually want to whip each other with the tent sticks.
There, yeah. I agree with it. Yeah.
You know, this is a dangerous place. It's a war zone.
Anybody could die at any time.
At 10:30, Robert, Sim, Alex and George in the smaller bedroom decided to have an early night. But the rest of the group in the bigger bedroom were determined to keep them awake.
So now the two groups have split when it's bedtime. To those that want a peaceful and those that want to just run amok. And now you see the red and the blue, or the black and the white, or however you want to see it, the God and the anti-God, Jesus and the Antichrist. You get these divisions of of solitude. Now they're experimenting right now. So even though they have realized that they're as guilty, they're still not putting themselves in each other's shoes. This is where that gets practiced. So you see this group here is not thinking about the other group at all. They're thinking about, if I'm awake, you should be awake. And that is what ends up causing these rifts that we see in societies. Just because I'm up. I remember this behavior amongst my friends because growing up in Arizona, a lot of slumber parties included pools or swimming. And one of the things we do is if you fell asleep first, your bathing suit was going in the freezer so that the next morning it would be not only extremely cold to put on, but you'd have to defrost it underwater. And so your bathing suit would be cold when you put it on, unless you were smart and used hot water. Then it'd be warm, but then you'd be cold because it's already wet. So it was a prank we played on each other, roughly this age, the double digits. And you can see that naturally. That's a natural thing. If I did it, they are doing it, you did it, everyone does it. And we can see that representing itself in our history of timelines as well. Not letting others be alone. You know, think about this and what behaviors you see happening en masse with these ideas. You know, people that just don't let you be. Why don't you I tease them?
Robert took on the role of defending the boys in the quieter room.
I'm stuck in the drawer. Get through thick skulls. Get lost.
And he doesn't recognize. And look how they're all getting things now. They're heading out there. He hasn't recognized yet that he is antagonizing them to come back to the door by slamming it and yelling out emasculating slangs. He's encouraging the retaliation that is to come, you know, and so he definitely wants the retaliation. That's not helping everyone sleep, right? You're continuing to slam a door while I'm trying to sleep. How is that a good lookout?
House meeting. Oh, we're all going to the house meeting. Oh, no, I said house meeting. Get a bus, man. It works. Yeah, we finished up.
War had been declared between the two rooms.
No house meeting. House meeting. How's the house meeting going then?
On the morning of the final day, it was the 5 boys in the smaller bedroom who woke first. Having been kept up for most of the night, they decided to get their own back on the other 5 boys in the big bedroom.
Get your own back. Cause out. Yeah.
If they're still in bed, we can go and nick their duvet.
But no, we can't because then they'll just need it back. There's no
No,
point.
because then if we close our door and then block it with something. Yeah, with the beds.
This is a micro version of a macro evolutionary stage. So these kids are acting out the same behaviors that human beings are acting out right now. Can you see it in there?
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
No thanks, mate. Not today.
You have it.
And no, I say that. Look, they're just throwing things in there. They're not setting off bombs. Wars and rumors of wars. That's what you're seeing there.
Wow.
Tit for tat behavior.
Why don't you finish off playing with each other? Unlucky.
Stop in the name of the door.
Scotty Jam.
Heave.
That's brilliant. So one of them's got some squeezy jam. The minute they open the door, he tells them, I've got squeezy jam. The minute they open the door, he squeezes it out on the floor and makes a big jam mess right there in their floor. This is the troublemaker, I believe. They're Michael. He takes things to extreme. And he reminds me of that one kid in the group that just takes everything to the extreme. Don't dare them to do something. They might do it. His archetype is showing. His slip is showing. That's interesting.
Oh, there's jam. Oh, the
There it is. Oh, the dicks. I'll go talk to them now. They went too far. Who was it that took it too far?
Us.
You get frightened, you know.
I haven't got anything on it. Okay.
George's got loads of that.
I'll surrender. Sam surrenders. Okay, I swear. Sam surrenders.
Why?
God knows.
Throughout the week, loyalties had been constantly shifting. With Sam's defection, it was now 6 against 4.
He's sorting out quite fast.
I'll be able to do that.
No, because they're not just taking
I know, can't we? Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Can you get lost?
No, I don't think so.
They're idiots who don't let us get to sleep because they want to be cool by staying up.
All we wanted is a fun week. Meet new people. What's it earned up in? Blooming Hell's Angels. So I'm paying my t-shirt.
So my experience has now ended in Hell's Angels. It's hell. It feels like he's trapped now in hell. He thought it was going to be fun. But without supervision, it's not fun. Without somebody telling others how to behave, it isn't fun. And kids don't listen to kids, which is why generationally what's been done to them is quite significant. So them being raised by themselves, we have now 3 generations who've basically lived just like this, coming of age. So, you know, they're living with peers, monitoring their behavior. Peers who do not know. That's 1 teacher for 20 kids or 2 teachers for 30 kids. That means that the majority of that kid's life is spent with peers the same age as them. And that's what's happening here. And you see here you have the few that are super troublemakers and the few that are, you know, trying to have some order and happiness. And then the group in the middle that gets dragged either way. And there you have society as a whole expressed through the 11 and 12-year-old mind.
can't stand this house now. Uh-oh. Oh, you're not funny. Your mom's funny.
Why'd Pizza Hut invent the original stuffed crust pizza? More cheese is better. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Introducing Critical Thinking Cards. This deck of cards features 48 of the most common.
Ring the bell.
Although upset, Robert chose not to ring the bell for adult help.
You're right, Rob. Yeah. Is he two-faced? Probably.
They were now in a state of siege, waiting for the week to end.
Now we've just decided we'll wait till it's over. No point in doing anything.
Yes, so good. This is for waking us up this morning. This is a day where I don't want to get wet, all right? You woke us up really early in the morning, so you're gonna pay. You've done everything. 3 nights in a row, you've woke us up 60 times. We can't get to sleep. You smell. Yeah, but we didn't wake you up, though. Yeah, you've been coming and going. Yeah, you smell. Have the bike go. I really care. You have it. Yeah, you woke us up. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. You opened the door and got caught, for God's sake. You can't say it wasn't you. Did I? Yes. Oh, yeah.
And that just shows how so many people don't realize what their behavior is. You know, that kid's like, I didn't even do anything. You were there one time when I opened the door. At least once I remember seeing you. Oh, I guess I did. I guess I was. You know, and that that behavior there. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. I saw you there.
I'm all ears, Sim. I want to be your friend. I do. Oh, yeah. You've turned Sim against me. Alex, please. I'm my friend. Come on. It doesn't have to be like this.
Yes, it does. Get out.
I will. You're my friend, Alex. Huh? You're my friend. Don't let me out. You're my friend. Robert, you're my friend. Are you my friend? Are you my friend, Robert?
You hear him saying, do you like me? Do you accept me?
Robbie, come on. Can we put this all behind us? Come on, we can be friends again. Turn over and you leave.
Come on, let's all be friends again and shake on it.
Shut up. I already covered all my clothes in cream. So.
Doesn't that house look like our planet right now? I've seen pictures like that.
Should we go downstairs and have an apple fight? Orange fight. Come on, let's go. Oh, let's go trash and play a bit more. Bro. Ah, what's it?
And then there's the broken windows.
Is your workout making things worse? If you have diastasis recti.
Now we're just gonna really. Now we're just. There's no point to this now. And that's very normal. But look at what they're doing. There's no point to any of this now. The house is wrecked. I don't want to clean it up. So let's wreck it. And that's what we're seeing en masse right now. Just a massive amounts of people just completely destroying the planet. They poisoning things and killing things and building windmills and solar panel things. They're digging in oil things. They're making a huge mess. They just don't even care anymore. It's as if there's no way to fix it, so we might as well just go forward and destroy it and get as far as we can until, mom, dad, God shows up and, we all have a revelation or a second coming. We hit the end of our puberty. Here I am, right? Crazy, but beautiful. I can definitely see humanity acting in these ways. Destroy it all. Let's watch them destroy it all.
I've been landed in a box. I'm championship for making first diary. Just like
So is this the fourth day or the third day? How many times have they fallen asleep? I think this is the fourth day. So they still have another day at least.
It's a snowball fighting on sliding. Snowball! We're running in fast. Good tidings we bring.
Do you see how he's just shredding that styrofoam? Just completely everywhere. Microparticles all over his planet of the house. Just annoying microparticles. He's spraying skies. He's spraying the skies.
That's very useful. Sam! You're proud of this stuff,
On Saturday morning, 5 days after entering the house, the boys rejoined their parents.
I'm going to heaven. I've been raptured. Here comes my little human adolescent archetypal self.
During the children's stay, their parents had been able to see a live transmission of what had been going on.
Oh.
Why did you trash the place?
Oh, because we just got annoyed.
Annoyed with what?
Everything, basically. Especially Michael.
Why? Well, Michael started the paint first.
Yeah, I know.
He's the instigator.
Did you clean your teeth at all? Look, Lee, go see the work. Good boy.
Anyway, you can see the parents were watching and they were paying attention. And I think some of them took it quite personally. But I think that's a good example of the developmental stages playing out on an epochal level, a micro and a macro. Some of these behaviors just being coded in for evolutionary purposes. And they expressed them all within the first day. They caught up to their own selves. That's pretty amazing. So I think that humanity stands a chance. I don't know if I do believe that. I'm kind of like, it's too late now. Might as well trash the place and wait for your parents to show up, or Naribu if you like that one, or geez, our aliens if you like that one. Anyway, there's a girl version of that as well. If I have a chance, I might watch it as well and break it down, my own comments throughout. It's basically going to be the same, because the girls have the very same behaviors. So it'll be, interesting to compare how the girls behave. They also eat everything. They also destroy the house. They do it in order. These are things that are instinctually, developmentally in us. But instead of trying to attack the hedgehog, as the boys did, the girls tried to protect the cat when a cat was introduced into the house. So their mommy type protective instinct kicks in there, and they're not chasing the cat with sticks. They're chasing the scared cat to pet it, which makes the animal just as terrified. All of these little girls wanting, to pet them. So you can see some of the behaviors different. Now, logically, I would have to do that experiment again with the same animal and same circumstances to know. But the girls definitely would have thought the hedgehog was cute. They would have been trying to protect it from anyone who wanted to poke it. And they would have been trying really hard to make its path clear, see if it wants to eat this, see if it wants to. So their behavior would have been completely different than the behavior of the boys, which was to attack it. And I don't know if you put a cat in the house, you probably would get the cat being chased. They probably didn't do that, knowing that the boys might put tape on its foot, or, who knows? The girls instantly want to give it milk in a saucer. I mean, these are just interesting behavioral developmental things that are clearly encoded in us, and in what makes us as humans, as a species, so fascinating. And so we've reached a point where all of those encodings and our conscious cosmic collective, where all of those things are starting to come together as we're moving from one stage into the other. So the age of Aquarius being that shift that we're going through, our transhumanism, or our puberty in real human and micro terms. That's the age that we're looking at here in these videos. And I could clearly see time unfolding like petals. And every behavior that they did, everything that they did was something that we once did as a society, as a whole collective group of humans. And so the connection there to me is just getting more solid the more I look at it. I find that really interesting. I can predict the future that way. Actually, I know what we do when we're 16, and I know what we do when we're 21. I know how our mind thinks roughly around these ages, and I can manipulate that thinking early on in their lives. I can add environmental factors early on in their lives through generational sciences that have an outcome that I'm looking for in the future. I'm running the show. So, we're doing it. And what's his face saying too, like, you have to turn 9. You're not going to have a choice. So you're going to get there. It doesn't matter. So do we stop trashing? Do we start planning ahead? Do we keep on separating and dividing into cliques, which is what we're about to have? Can we avoid that? Very interesting. And if you had another group, they might become an invading party. 40 days of rain should clear it out. There you go, Timmy. Well, that's it for this presentation. I think I've made myself as clear as I'm going to today. So appreciate the few of you that have stopped by and have listened to my ideas. And have an excellent day. I suppose we'll bounce out with our public service announcement. So that'll be fun. Bounce, roll, skate.
This public service announcement is brought to you by Rotten Studios. Remember, no contact is the road to freedom.